Hi everybody, it's numerologist Michelle Buchanan with your numerology forecast for 2021. And to celebrate the new year, let me tell you about the deal I've got for my 12-month forecast report. So you've got a software report of your complete numerology chart from your birth certificate name and date of birth, plus a 12-month forecast of each of the months throughout the 12 months of the year. Okay, it's about a 23-page report. It's DCOS numerology software. They're normally 25 New Zealand or US dollars, depending on where you live in the world, but I'm doing two for the price of one. I'll put some information at the bottom of the YouTube description, okay, for those that are interested, or you can email me through my website and I'll send you the information. Right, now that I've got that out the way, because I usually forget, let's get to 2021. All right. Now, just before I dive into the forecast for 2021, I just want to recap some of the things that we should have learned from 2020 so that we can carry through that wisdom through 2021, making this an even better year for ourselves mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, across the board, because nothing happens for no reason in the world. There's a reason for everything. And 2020 was a 4-year, and that was about building a 4 universal year for everybody. In numerology, we have 2 year numbers. We have one that's our personal year number that I will be doing the forecast for you for your personal year number as soon as I've finished a bit of discussion about 2020 and 2021. But this, what I'm talking about, 2020 was a 4 universal year number for everybody. And that was about building a strong foundation that will stand the test of time. Okay, and that foundation has to come through consistent effort, sometimes upheaval and hard work. And that's sure as hell what happened last year in 2020. However, building this foundation, it's an ongoing process, guys, and it began way before 2020 and it will continue way beyond 2020. However, 2020 was a year where the shit hit the fan, so to speak, and it created a worldwide upheaval that still continues for many people today. With upheaval comes positive change. So if we look at 2021 as a magic wand that can help us to escape the challenges of 2020, or if we put pressure on 2021 to be better than 2020 because 2020 sucked, not only have we missed the entire point of 2020 and everything it tried to teach us, we also run the risk of being really disappointed with 2021 as well, which is why I'm going on about 2020, even though we're in a new year now. I want you to make the most of it by looking at it with the right perception. The truth is, there's a lot more to this ongoing international foundation building process that's going to play out on the world stage. But if we can create a strong inner foundation within each of us individually from the lessons we've learned in 2020 and beyond, 2021 will be a much better year for us, regardless of what's happening in the world around us, and regardless of what internal challenges and struggles we may be facing ourselves individually and personally. Okay, so let's take a quick look at some of the important lessons from 2020 just to make sure 2021 can be the best year it can be because we're taking this knowledge on board. All right, first and foremost, lesson number 1 from 2020. People, love, and health are more important than money and things. At the end of the day, when it comes down to it, you can't take it with you when you go. So strive less and live more. Connect more. Money, accomplishments, and stuff can't buy you authentic happiness, immunity, and a healthy body and mind. People, connection, community, and unity are the most important things of all. And this is where humanity is heading. We're heading in that direction. And 2020 gave us a really good inroad into that. So get on board. Don't miss the bus. You're only going to make things harder for yourself if you can't get your head around lesson 1. Lesson 2 that 2020 taught us. Less is more. Be grateful for what we already have before we reach for more. Appreciate the security of our jobs if we're fortunate enough to have one, even if it sucks. Downsize your life and learn to be happy with less. Learn to appreciate the small and simple things around you in your everyday life. It could be anything. It could be animals. It could be nature. It could be music. It could be creative expression. Appreciate the beauty around you. Don't take anything or anyone for granted. Be thankful for every second and live in the present moment, because in the blink of an eye, it can all change and it can all be taken away. And we saw that in 2021 because that sure came from left field. Lesson number 3, harden up. Be humble and less entitled. Nobody said life was going to be easy or that it would unfold a certain way according to our agenda or our plans. We all signed up to be here at this present time because we all have something to contribute, and we were all born with the ability to make it through whatever comes our way. But we didn't come here for a picnic, and there will always be challenging times when we need and where we will need to dig deep. So for many of us, this has been one of those times. But what must come down? But what goes up must come down, because life is a series of cycles. Together, we can make this one of the most gratifying cycles of our life. But we first need to humble up, be less entitled, and prepared to do some work. Lesson number 4, let shit go. Don't hold on to the drama in your life. Accept, let go, move on. Forgive, make amends, keep moving forward. Because what's done is done. It is what it is. Don't carry it with you. We need to leave the past behind. We need to save our valuable energy for rebuilding new dreams and creating a better future based on what matters the most, based on authenticity, based on the belief that as a group, as a united force, we can overcome anything. We need to take time out to process and honor our emotions and allow ourselves time to grieve, of course, for health reasons, mental and psychological and emotional health. But we need to keep moving at the same time. And we need to try our best to believe that life will be good again, because it totally will. In fact, life is good and things are eventually going to be better. They always do take a turn around. In fact, things are already better now if you're able to look close enough and see the bigger picture. So I just wanted to create that little foundation for you about what 2020 is, because see, every year is a process. And if you can see the threads and the jewels and the pearls of wisdom in each year that is preceding the year that we come into, you can build upon it and you can make the most of each year. So let's talk a little bit about 2021. So 2021 is what is known as a 5 universal year. So that is because we add all those numbers together, 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 1, and that adds up to a 5. So the universal year number is a number that affects every single person on the planet. And then we have our own individual personal year number that I'll be giving you the forecast for in a few moments after I've told you a little bit about the basis, the underlying current of 2021. So 2021 is a 5 universal year, and that is a year of progress, movement, and change. All right, that's where anything can happen, and it usually does. We almost want to expect the unexpected. That can be in a really positive way, and it can be in a challenging way as well. It is a year of unexpected events, positive and challenging, where the ball has started to roll and it's gathering momentum and it's pushing through boundaries, old outworn ideas, systems that we've grown out of that aren't serving us. It's pushing through boundaries, and it's on the lookout for new opportunities, new systems, new ideas to create a new and improved way of living, thinking, and being. And in 2021, it's our job as individuals for us to be as optimistic, open-minded, flexible, and adaptable as we possibly can. To see the bigger picture, to see the glass half full no matter what, because it can truly be an awesome year when we look at it in the right way. Knowing that we came here to do some work, we didn't come here to sit on our butt. It's all great, isn't it, when everything's going our way and we're riding the gravy train and life is great, and it's so amazing when life is like that. And when it is, really appreciate that, guys, and don't take it for granted, because what goes up must come down. So, there's always those different cycles. So when nothing's wrong, be grateful nothing's wrong. If you're bored because nothing much is happening, be grateful for that, because trust me, things could be a lot worse. Okay, we've got to try and change our thinking and change our perception. So on top of that 2021 universal year, let me now talk about your own individual personal year number for 2021. So let's begin by calculating your personal year number for the whole of 2021. You're going to use this number throughout the whole year. And how we get it is we're going to add the month and day of your birth date to 2021, or actually the month and day of your birth date to number 5, because 2021 is a 5, so it just makes it easier for you. Or you can do the day and month plus number 5. It doesn't matter which order. In America, they do the month and then the day and then the year. In New Zealand and other parts, Australia, the UK, we do the day and then the month. So that's the reason I say the forecast that way. But long story short, We're going to get the month and day of your birth date, and we're going to add that to number 5. So let me use the example of the birth date, March 28. So March is a 3, and 28 is 28. We're going to add that to 5. So we would then go 3 plus 2 plus 8 plus 5. All right? 3, so 8, 10, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 18. Right. Now, here's the thing. You're going to add those numbers together, and you're going to end up, a lot of people will end up with a double-digit number. The rule of thumb is keep adding double numbers together until you eventually get a single digit between 1 and 9. Now, in my example, 18, we got a total of 18. Now, we've got to add the 1 and 8 together to get 9. And that's my personal year number for the year, the 9 personal year. That's actually my birth date, so I'm actually in a 9 year. So, once again, I'll go through it again because it doesn't matter how many times I explain this and how thorough I am. I always get people messaging me going, how do you do that? So, month and day of your birth date, add it to number 5. Continue to add together any double numbers until you eventually get a single number between 1 and 9. The example, March 28th, 3 plus 2 plus 8 plus 5, that equals 18. Add double numbers together to get a single number between 1 and 9. 1 and 8 equals 9, so that's a 9 personal year number. All right, you ready? So let's get started with personal year number 1. Personal year number 1. Well, you guys are in a year of new beginnings. So this is a sort of a year where last year you were in a 9 year, and that was the last year of a block of 9 years, a big cycle of 9 years. And it was the last year in that 9-year cycle. And now we're in a 1 year of this whole brand new 9-year cycle, and this is the first year of another 9-year cycle. And so there's going to be a bit of a push me, pull me kind of energy going on where you kind of want to move forward, and that's where you're being led, but there's still some loose ends that need to be tied up. Okay, so the main thing to know is regardless of what month you go through, because each month is going to add a different flavor to your 1 personal year, and bearing in mind that you're in a 5 universal year of change and progress and movement, and anything can happen, and it usually does. And your 1 year will have a different flavor to it depending on the month. But the underlying tone, the underlying theme of the entire year is new beginnings, taking action, and opportunities presenting themselves to you so that you can create a new you can create a new way of living, a new way of being, a new way of perceiving yourself in life. Everybody's journey's different. Some people are going to be right into this 1 year and like make big changes, new job, new friends, new relationship, new hobby. Other people are not really in that space. You know, everyone's chart is different. We need to look at the whole entire chart, not just the personal year number. So some people are going to have their life exactly the same. Just a couple of minor things. They might, for example, have a new meal that is their favorite meal that they have for their diet, you know, takeout dinner. You know, they have takeaways every Friday night and they always get the same thing, and they change from Chinese to Thai. You know, who knows? Someone might have a new haircut, you know, a new hairstyle, and someone might have a whole new home and move to a completely different town. Everyone's different, but the main thing is the theme that life is trying to tell you about this 1 year is you be in the driver's seat of your life, all right? Spend time getting to know you, building on your relationship with you, getting confident in who you are, getting confident in how you think and what your needs are and what you really think and feel, and being your true, authentic self. The 1 year is asking you to get into the driver's seat in your life. It's saying green light, move forward. Don't get stuck in the traffic jam, and don't stay stuck at the red light. You have got a green light to move forward. So take a look at yourself as you're going through this year. Check in with yourself every month. You know, and as you know, I do my forecast each month. So I'll tell you about those different flavors that you're going to go through each month in your 1 year. And check in with yourself and say, where am I at? Do I feel like I really want to move forward, or I need to make some changes, but I'm sort of stuck? Because this is a year where there will be a momentum that will move you along. Now, not so much in January, because in January, it is sort of a patient, slow and steady wins the race kind of vibe that you're in this month. But that's only for this month, and October will be like that. The rest of the month will be pretty much all guns blazing, move forward. So I want you to focus on being more independent, being more self-reliant, not being afraid to be different, not to follow the crowd if it's not your gig. I want you to stay positive and have a positive, optimistic, fresh approach to life. Be open to new opportunities and be on the lookout for them. Now, as I've said before in many of my other forecasts for other numbers, opportunities aren't always the big bells and whistles, guys. You know, if you train yourself to expect less and to appreciate small things and to be so trained in the way that you view your life, that your perception is life is genuinely good, there are opportunities all around me, and you appreciate small things in life instead of only being happy and satisfied and only striving for the big glorious experiences, then you won't see them. But when you train yourself to see them, magic appears every day. It's amazing, and I want you to train yourself to see these small things, because a series of small things becomes one big thing anyway, but something small can lead to something big. You know, and be on the lookout for that. I want you to be taking on more of a leadership role in some of the situations in your life, standing up for yourself, being a bit more assertive, being proactive and taking action. But it is definitely a year for you to start new things, especially if it's self-improvement or anything that improves your personality, your outlook, and your life. All right, green light ahead for you guys. So I'll leave that with you, and I'll move on now to personal year number 2. So you guys in personal year number 2, last year you were in a 1 year, and that 1 year was a whole, you know, kicking off a whole new beginning for you. And you're in a 2 year now, and that 2 year is combined with a 5 year universal year of, you know, progress, movement, and change, where anything can happen, and it usually does. And the 2 year is a year where it's going to ask you to slow down a little bit, because the 2 year is a very internal year, where a lot of the work and a lot of the reason for the 2 year in the first place is all to do with you internally and what your needs are, what your emotional needs are, getting yourself all tidied up from the inside out, if you like. And I know some of you will be thinking, ugh, lame, that sounds boring. It's not, trust me. This year will lay a foundation for your future. It's a very, very important year, because we're creative beings and we attract based on what we think and what we feel emotionally. You've got to be on top and understanding what your emotions are putting out to the universe. You've got to get on top of what your programming is from before you were even born or even in your childhood. You've got to understand, because on one level in our mind we want something, but emotionally, if we've got issues or we've got programs going on or limiting beliefs or, you know, stuff going on emotionally and internally, some of it even subconscious we're not even aware of, we're actually attracting the opposite of what we consciously want in our mind, and wonder why nothing's going our way. You know, it's because we've got to work out what's going on for us internally, and the 2 year will give us that opportunity. So this year is about stabilizing and consolidating yourself from within, and, you know, more about getting yourself all worked up from within and all tidied up, so that you can literally, things will just come to you. You don't have to go out there hunting them down. You know, it's almost like you can conserve your energy and take it inward. And the more you do that, the more the opportunities will come to you outside of you, and you have to do less physically. You know, it's all about energetically and emotionally. So it may feel like not much is happening at times, but don't you be fooled. There's a lot happening behind the scenes. And like I said, there's going to be a different flavor each month, because you've got your personal month number that I will be doing the forecast for you throughout each of the 12 months of this year. So each month will have a different flavor to it. But this is definitely, throughout the year, the grand theme is to be patient, okay? Don't force things to happen. Don't try and make things happen to your timeline. Trust divine timing. Trust that the universe knows a little bit more about you and your needs in life than you do. And let go and let God, as that saying says. Let the system do its thing without you trying to control it. Because if you try and force things in 2 year, you'll probably fall flat on your face, because it's the opposite energy that is required from you to be successful this year. And when I say successful, I'm not talking about just materialistic success. I'm talking about internal peace, peace of mind, a feeling of joy, a feeling of feeling like you're really who you want to be, or you're really being true to yourself, and that you're connected with life and you feel like you belong and you're in alignment, you know? And that in itself will help you achieve goals in the material physical world. But success is way above and beyond just the materialistic gains. And with this 2 year, you know, there is a strong focus on the relationships around you. So learning to be more negotiable and more cooperative with other people, learning to be softer and gentler and kinder to others, but most importantly to yourself, to be kind and forgiving and understanding towards yourself. Okay, now the 2 year, because it does deal with emotions and tidying things up from the inside out, For some people, repressed emotions may come to the surface. And because the 2-year represents sensitivity and emotions, we can already feel like we're already a bit more hypersensitive or a bit overly emotional for the positive, so we can feel happier and more, aligned and more balanced. But we can also feel a bit out of whack too, exaggerated feelings of, fear or nervousness or insecurity, whatever your demons are, emotionally can be amplified. And there's a reason for that. One of the reasons is our emotions are amplified so that we can be made more aware in our conscious mind about what our stuff is. If we exaggerate your feeling of inferiority, or a feeling of fear or worry, then you can't help but know you've got it there. And you're going to have to face it, and you're going to have courage, and you're going to have to work through it and process it so that you can file it away and make peace and make it work for you and embrace it and make it part of yourself and be empowered by it instead of disempowered by it or depressed by it or powerless because of it. So it enhances our emotions so that they can become more obvious to us. And when they're in their obviousness, we can understand ourselves better, and we can understand our patterns of behavior and our triggers and what's been holding us back. And we can take advantage of the good side of that and really tap into those emotions of self-belief and optimism and self-worth and joy and hope and faith and all of those good juicy things as well. Okay, so relationship issues that are brewing beneath the surface may rise to be resolved so that you can have a look at what needs to be fixing, what you've grown out of, what needs to be let go of, and what needs to be ironed out. So be aware of those sorts of things too. And like I said before, be patient. Seek to be harmonious in all that you do. Know that you're hypersensitive and try not to overreact. And don't think you're losing your mind and you're going to be a Fruit Loop emotional basket case for the rest of your life. You're not. You're just in a 2-year. All right, so I'll leave it with you. This can be a fantastic year for you, so make the most of it. Moving on now to personal year number 3. All right, so you were in a 2-year last year. And that 2-year was a slow going year. It can be quite a slow year for some people. But now you're in a 3-year. And that 3-year that you're in is combined with a 5 personal year and a 5 universal year. So you're in a 3 personal year number for you and a 5 universal year number for the whole world. And both the 3 and the 5 are activity, action-packed numbers where there's a lot going on. All right? And that means that there's a lot going on that you kind of need to have your wits about you. You need to be organized. You need extra effort in being focused, structured, orderly. You might want to write things down if you're the kind of person that when you're distracted, you forget things. So you want to have schedules and stick to plans. Do what's important the best that you can. And when new things crop up, because that's what can happen in the 3-year and the 5 universal year, is things can come from left field that sidetrack you and distract you. And then you're on another tangent down a different path. And therefore you don't complete things that are already existing. So in order for you to avoid that is you want to prioritize, okay? Get your priorities straight, make what's important your first on the top of your agenda, and then learn as things start to come onto your plate and unexpected things, good things and challenges, as they present themselves to you, you've got to also learn to say no to what you don't really need to take on board. So don't put your hand up for everything, because if you do, and you do end up getting a lot on your plate as the year goes on, then you're going to be overwhelmed and quite frustrated and quite stressed out. So choose what you want to take on and don't say yes to everything. If you're one of those people that can't say no, and here's a little tip, don't have to say no if you don't want to let people down and you don't want to seem like a pain in the neck. What you do is you say, leave it with me. I just need to think about it, or I just need to figure a few things out. Let me get back to you. And that gives a buffer of time for you to, 1, have the courage to say no, 2, for the other person to get it in their head that there's a possibility you might say no. And then you've got like that buffer of time, just if you're one of those people that says yes because you just don't have the courage to say no when someone directly asks you, can you do this? So say, let me get back to you. All right? That's a stepping stone to a no. Now the 3-year is, it's a lot going on. So it's a really action-packed year, and it can be really fun. It can be like going surfing. There can be a lot of fun to be had this year. It can be a really charismatic, outgoing year. I want you to know that some of the key themes for you this year, so there's an underlying theme for you this year that changes its flavor as we go through each of the months. And I'll be doing a forecast for you each month. And so I can tell you what those different flavors are as you go through the year. But the underlying theme, regardless of what month you're in, for you this year is about learning to express yourself honestly and having the courage to be who you are. So say what you really think. Be heard. Don't hide away all the time. If there are things you want to do, things you want to say, you want to say them, you want to do them. You also want to learn that it's a very creative year. We are creative beings energetically. So what I mean by that, I don't mean artistic creativity. I'm talking about energetic manifestation creativity. And this 3-year amplifies your ability to manifest and create based on what you think and feel and emotionally in this 3-year. We're like that anyway. Every human being is. We're energetic manifestation beings, but in a 3-year that's amplified. And so this is a year where your feelings are amplified as well. And the 3-year will exaggerate whatever your thoughts and feelings are about yourself and your life and what's going on around you. So one of the reasons it amplifies it is so that you can be aware first and foremost of what makes you unhappy and what isn't going right, so that you can then make changes and be aware of, oh my goodness, I've got this big, fear, and oh my goodness, I've got this problem. And then it kind of makes it feel a bit overwhelming at times, because we need to understand that it's there. We need to know what you're thinking and feeling about it, so that you then have a starting point of the changes that need to be made and the change of thoughts and the actions that need to be taken as you work through it. And the 3-year is wanting to get clear about what you really think and feel. Okay. Your connection to people is enhanced as well. This is a very social energy, and it's a very active energy in terms of interacting with other people. And communication is a very important thing this year, where you really you need to express yourself and be honest about what you really think and feel, but you also need to be careful about what you say, whether you're gossiping, criticizing, being cruel, or saying unkind words, or even negative self-talk to yourself. You've got to be really careful what those words are, because they're affirmations. So things you're saying, whether they're in your mind or verbally or to yourself or to someone else, you're manifesting those, you're creating them. Your thoughts and words and emotions are very powerful this year. They're amplified. And so on the flip side of that is happiness is amplified. So this year is about you finding out and getting to the core of what makes you happy, what's really important for you in this life, and removing all the hurdles, all the blocks, everything that is preventing you from having that or doing that or being that. It's a process of getting clear and getting your way, finding a way and building a bridge to that feeling of complete contentment and joy and happiness. Friendship as well. You might meet some new people this year. So get off the couch and get out there and be open. Some people will be idiots. Some people will be freaking awesome. You only need one person that gets you in life, and things can be so much better when you have that. It also helps to be really optimistic and to see the glass half full this year, because like I said, your thoughts and emotions are amplified. So we want to amplify that optimism. I want you to know that when you're in a 3-year, it's also a really good energy for if you are creatively, artistically inclined. So if there's projects you want to work on, if you have any kind of work you want to do around the house, if you want to get a makeover, if you want to redesign your kitchen, if you want to change your hairstyle, if you want to be creative with the clothes you wear, like every expression of creativity is different. But this is an energy that is encouraging you to do that, especially having fun with that. And if you're not artistic or creative, sometimes it's about finding creative solutions to problems. Your mind, you're going to have a lot of ideas this year. You're going to have a lot of sort of, oh, wow, things pop up in your head that you didn't even think of before. And you can just feel like, wow, I'm on a roll. How did I think up that idea? What a bloody good thing to do. Those things are going to happen a lot this year. So we want your mind as clean and clear and open to receiving some of these wonderful insights throughout this 3-year. So I think the best advice I can say to you is just be as positive as you can. Don't be too negative. Don't be too nasty to other people and gossipy, and don't get caught up in drama. Downsize the drama in your life is probably one of the best things I can tell you about this 3 years. Downsize the drama in your life. Let go of greed, let go of all the bullshit and just strive towards what makes you happy, because that's what this year is designed for you to be able to do. So I'll leave that with you, and I'll move on now to personal year number 4. So you guys are in a 4-year. All right. And that 4-year is going to have a different flavor each month, because each month has a different influence. And if you listen to my forecast, then you'll hear about that different influence each month as I, give you a forecast each month. But the underlying tone and the underlying theme for this entire year will stay the same. And it's about creating order in your life. It's about building a foundation within yourself internally, mentally, emotionally, and in the external, physically, in your physical world, in your home base, in your career base, whatever it is. It's about building a solid foundation within you and around you that will stand the test of time moving forward. It's a building time. So this is to say it's about setting up the foundation for the future, if you like. So it's about, let's say, for example, you want it to improve your health. Well, it's about the 4-year would be the year to get started on getting a health check, and then seeing where you're at, and then seeing what needs to be improved. You might get, involved in learning about gut health. You might do a bit of exercise. You might cut out sugar. You might or if you wanted to improve your finances, you might look at a budget. For the first time, you might start being aware of your spending and start budgeting things. You might then start consulting with someone that can advise you on a way to save, or how to cost cut, or ways that you can save money, ways that you can earn money. You've got a business, you might want to expand the business or downsize the business to make it more profitable. Everyone's situation is totally different, but the bottom line for the 4-year is doing the work that needs to be done to get yourself and or your life where you need it to be for things to thrive, or where you want it to be just because you want to achieve some goals. So the 4-year is doing the mahi, as we say in New Zealand, doing the work, and get down into it, head down, bum up, take action, do whatever needs to be done to get things in order. And you can have some amazing results. You can really, really achieve a whole lot of ground with this year. Some people get a bit annoyed when they hear they're in a 4-year, and they're like, oh, work, lame, that sucks. But when you know that on the other end of that comes amazing foundations and pillars of, that'll set you up for the future, I mean, come on, that's a reward in itself. So in this 4-year, it is about getting organized, putting systems in place to achieve some goals, paying off debts, tidying things up, making a commitment. It's also a time to be sensible and practical and not be too cray-cray, especially because we're in a 5 universal year, and the 5 universal year number is a complete opposite of 4. The 5 is a bit random, and the 4 is asking for structure. So there are going to be times where you're trying to achieve structure and a plan and be consistent, and then you've got this random 5 universal year that's coming at you from left, right, and center, and you kind of be a bit frustrated because you're trying to achieve something in a straight line, but life is never a straight line anyway. So it does pay to be adaptable and flexible, yet still have goals and be consistent and persevere at the same time. So it's about a balancing act of both those two energies. Another thing to know about the 4-year that's really important is that you need to be patient. All right, so don't force things to happen before their time, otherwise you'll fall flat on your face. You really need to trust in divine timing, not your timing. If you force the issue, if you try and make things happen before they're ready universally, they just won't work out the way you want. So you really do need to learn patience in that 4-year, and just let go and let God, as they say. So I'll leave that with you, and I hope you have a great year, and I will talk to you next month. So let's go on now to personal year number 5, and you guys are always going to be in the same personal year number as the universal year number. So the universal year number for 2021 is a 5. It was a 4 last year, and it'll be a 6 next year. And so is your personal year number. So you're going to get a double dose of the energy of the personal year number you're in, because it's the universal year number 2. And so, as I mentioned in the intro, if you were listening, the 5-year is about progress, movement, and change. Okay, so this year, it's also about adventure. It can be action-packed. It can be very dynamic. It's a year of expecting the unexpected. So, it's in the middle. Like the 1 year is new beginnings, the 9 year is endings, and the 5 year is smack bang in the middle. So the 5 year is kind of like where life says, hey, let's shake it up. Let's change the playing field, and creates change in your life. Some change you will see coming because you just saw it coming. Some change that presents itself, you're in control of because you're making the decisions and you're being proactive about it. Other change you did not see coming, you had no control over it, and it's like, whoa, what the hell? Where did that come from? Remember, guys, trust in life, trust in your journey, trust in your own higher self to guide you where you need to be. That can be a really exciting time. But you do need to be flexible and adaptable and go with the flow because, you don't know what's around the corner. It is a really, really good energy to make changes that you've been wanting to make for a while or that you need to make. Some people might change careers. Some people might change a relationship, breaking away from old routines, launching yourself into new areas of growth, new opportunities. Some people may feel a bit bored, a bit stuck, a bit restless. Don't make any hasty decisions though. Think before you act. This 5-year, and remember you get a double dose of it because it's the universal year number as well, can create a feeling or a desire to overindulge your senses. And that can be with food, alcohol, overspending, sex, gambling, whatever. Each person to their own. Some people overindulge in exercise and healthy things. I know people that are addicted and overindulge in bloody personal growth workshops and things. They're addicted to them and they go to them all the time, but they never actually put into practice any of the things they learn, but they're just addicted to going. And it's so funny, people can be addicted to things that we consider positive. But it's about being disciplined and learning about moderation and balance, okay? So just be aware of that and try and be as balanced as you possibly can. Great year to promote yourself, to network with others. Great year to try some new things. Go on some adventures. Go on a road trip if you've never done that, to somewhere, a little town, even if it's boring, but you're doing something different. The 5 loves change and variety and interesting things. Okay, so I'll leave that with you. I hope you have a great year, and I'll move on now to personal year number 6. So for you guys, you were in a 5-year last year, a year of progress, movement, and change. Now you're in a 6-year, which is really a lot to do with, responsibility and it's about realizing that you have certain obligations and a duty to be of service to maybe family members or a career or a job or a child or honestly, everyone's life is different. And, you can have a child that's in a 6-year and they're not going to be having a responsibility with a child, are they? Because they are a child, so they're not going to be having a child or anything. But it's about getting a bit more serious about things and taking responsibilities seriously. So if a child was in a 6-year, for example, an example for that would be taking their schoolwork a bit more seriously, taking their learning and studying a bit more seriously, or taking their relationship with their other family members a bit more seriously, understanding the impact in the way that they treat their siblings, for example. They might be bullying their younger sibling, or this plays out in so many different ways, and it's the same for adults. It's really about learning that we're here to be of service, that life isn't just for me. Life is about learning about the we and the whole and the family, whether you love them or hate them. It's about the relationships in your life this year as well might take a center stage. Now that's not the whole year, it can be at certain times of the year, and of course this can be the case when we're not even in a 6-year, because we're all humans, we all have family, we all have people in our life, so we're always going to have relationship stuff going on, but it's just in a 6-year it makes it more of a key theme. That's the difference. And so but it's about learning to see things from the other person's point of view, learning to be a shoulder to cry on or be there when you're needed, yet at the same time learning how to balance your needs and your self-care with what's expected and needed from you from others. And it's a tricky road to travel because you've got to find that middle ground between helping and over helping, or everything for everyone else and nothing for you and your glass is empty. So this year will teach you about all of those kinds of themes. It may also come for people that are being irresponsible and selfish. There might be issues that will come up for them, or you, if you're one of those people in certain situations, where there'll be lessons to learn around all of that kind of thing. But if you are a good person, if you have good self-care regimes in place, if you know yourself so well that you understand monitoring yourself very carefully, you have good boundaries in place, but you are service orientated, then this should be a breeze. everyone's different. But another thing to know with the 6th year is relationship issues that have been brewing beneath the surface with loved ones, with neighbors, with friends, with work colleagues, with people that are around you in your life. If there's underlying relationship issues that have been brewing and nothing's ever been said, but there's just stuff happening beneath the surface, especially with people you're quite close to, you may find that they may rise to be resolved, because energy can't be hidden. Even though your reactions and your thoughts can't be seen with the human eye, for whoever those thoughts and feelings are about, they can't see them, but that energy still exists, and that energy will come into physical form in some way, somehow anyway. And sometimes in the 6th year, sometimes in the 6th year, that can happen. So just be aware of that. Just know that it's a good opportunity to set the record straight, to talk about things that, need to be discussed, so that you can then find a solution or go your separate ways, okay? Great time to spend time on the house, on personal growth, on the garden, renovating, redecorating, rearranging, all that kind of stuff. Beauty and physical appearance, health and well-being, those sorts of things that influence your self-esteem and your health and well-being are very important this year as well. Time to dedicate extra time to children for those that are in that situation, and also mending relationships that are broken if there is possibility for reconciliation or even forgiveness and communication. All right, so I will leave that with you and wish you all the best, and I'll move on now to personal year number 7. So you guys are in a 7 year, and the 7 year is going to go through all different phases as you go through each different month this year. And of course, I'll be here to give you your forecast every month and tell you about those different flavors. The one remaining underlining theme that will always be there no matter what month you're in for the 7 is about personal growth. All right. Now, some people go, what? Oh, lame. That's so boring. Why can't I have an exciting year? Well, dude, this can be a really exciting year. My 7 year was freaking awesome. 7 year is basically trying to get you to get in touch with who you are, what your patterns of behavior are, what you need to work on, what your potential is, what can make you happier, what can make you a better person, understanding you're a creative being that's attracting people and situations and opportunities to you based on what you're projecting out and what you think and believe. And it's helping you to get more in touch with you, because you're an energetic creative being. And if you're random and don't know a thing about yourself and don't know anything about the patterns of behavior or the triggers that you have that set you off, and you can't control your emotions, you don't even know why you have them or where they come from. You think it's for some reason, but it's not. It's actually from something that probably happened when you were 2 years old, for all you know. And you're just random. Then you're manifesting in a random way too. But the more you know yourself, the more centered and balanced you are, and the more you can project out, especially when it's combined with a feeling of trust and faith that the universe will send you whatever you're meant to have and wherever you're meant to be, and you don't even really need to try. You just need to trust. You're going to be more in alignment. You're going to be more empowered. Now, especially this year, this is the year to do it, because next year you're in an 8 year, and the 8 year is really powerful for manifestation. So the 7 year comes before the 8 year, because it's almost like the universe is giving you an opportunity to get your shit together from within, so that by the time you're this manifestation powerhouse in your 8 year that follows, you're going to be a legend, because you've done all the work, you see. So lazy people will go, oh, stuff that sucks. I'm turning off this recording. I hate you, Michelle Buchanan. You're boring. Or other people that know that we've come to do some work. You can't escape the system. It is what it is. Just get down to business. They'll be lapping it up. If you do the work, and the work is really know yourself. Know yourself. Know your programming. Know why you think what you think. Know why you feel the way you feel. And you're able to observe yourself as a third party looking in at why you behave and the things you do and why you did them. And you follow that thread right back down to the bottom line, and you'll be surprised. And you can catch yourself out and reprogram how you behave, reprogram the actions that you take. You stop and you think and you make different decisions, better decisions and actions that get you where you want to be, doing what you want to be, being who you want to be sooner and easier. Doesn't that sound cool? So, the 7 years is going to help you do that. It's also a year to help you, for those that are spiritually open, to get you closer to whatever, to having some sort of spiritual belief. Because you know, we're not here alone. There's a higher self, there's a higher force, there's a greater divine energy, and it's right there at our fingertips waiting to help us if we just give it a chance. It's our job to connect in with it. It's always there, but we make that connection stronger when we acknowledge it, when we understand it, and we utilize it. How do we do that? Through prayer. And I'm not talking about any religious kind of things. I'm not talking about down on your knees, hands underneath your chin. I'm talking about simply having a conversation, having an open line to whatever it is you believe in. That you're talking to it like you believe it exists and that it can hear you. Doesn't worry about the label or the name of it or what it means or what it is in a book or what anyone else believes. It's just, do you believe there's something out there? Yes. Do you believe that that something out there is more powerful than you? And yes. Okay, well, you can talk to that thing. You can ask that thing for help when you're feeling down. You can ask that thing for help when you can't create a solution to a problem. You can ask that thing for help when you feel like a complete idiot. You can ask that thing for help when your heart is broken and you're on the floor and you don't even realize it. And the 7 year is saying, look, get closer to whatever that thing is, because it's an untapped resource that can be like the powerhouse to help you be a better person, to be a stronger person, a happier person, in alignment, especially as you move towards this 8 year in 2022. So the 7 year, I want you to know not to push things. Don't force things to happen before their time. This is a year to be patient, all right? To let go and let God, to trust, to not think that you know everything, and to not think that your way, it's my way or the highway. I want that thing to go my way. I want it to happen now. And the universe just goes, because it knows what's for your greater good more than you do. And you need to know that, because if you force things, if you don't get what I'm saying and you go your own way, go rogue and force it, you might just fall flat on your face. And we don't want that, do we? So let go and let God. Spend quiet time alone. Explore alternative therapies. Adopt a spiritual practice. Relax, recuperate, focus on your personal growth, get closer to God, universe, spiritual stuff, whatever you believe in, and focus on your health and well-being. And that will set you up nicely for next year. So I'll leave that with you, and we'll go on now to the personal year number 8. And you guys, you're in an 8 year, you're in a 7 year last year, and the 8 year, a lot of numerology books and a lot of numerologists will focus on the 8 year being about business, money, career, that sort of thing. And yeah, there is an element of that to the 8 year. But for me, I feel it's more about your own personal empowerment and your relationship with yourself. The 8 year is a very strong manifestation year. And it's where the law of attraction and the law of cause and effect and all those universal laws are just amplified to the max. And it's where you really need to know what you're projecting out, because if it's twisted in some way, if it's negative for you, it's only going to make things worse and harder for you in your life. So it's a matter of, what are you projecting out? So it's a year where you'll really get to know yourself, and you will get to know your real power. And you can go from I was in an 8 year last year, and I came out the end of it just going, wow, I feel more confident than I ever have in my life. And it was, I had a really couple of hard years before that. So I was really surprised, thinking, wow, I can't believe what I've achieved internally. And the 8 year will help you improve circumstances in your outer world as well. So if you're trying to attract a better job, or you're trying to, save some money, or you're trying to do better in your business, it can really help you if you've got the right mindset. And the right mindset has to be not desperately needing it, trusting that what you get, what you need, not what you have to have or what you want. When you're in balance, then it's easier to manifest. But the 8 year is about wanting you to understand yourself and why you think and feel the way you do, because you're creating from that. And the 8 year is also asking you to get familiar with the universal laws. One of the best ways and most effective ways to do that is with a book that is one of my all-time favorites. I have about 4 copies of it here for clients that come for face-to-face readings. I loan them out for those that are wanting to read. Very easy book to read. New York Times bestseller. It's called Quantum Success, and it's by Sandra Ann Taylor. Sandra Ann Taylor, she's a Hay House author. Quantum Success will teach you about the law of attraction, but other universal laws, and also about your own personal energy field, your own life force energy, and how to manage that so that it will work for you instead of against you. So for those that are business inclined and money inclined, don't overspend. practical tips here. Budget your finances, pay any outstanding debts, or at least get that underway. Sort out legal issues. Learn to be more of an authority in your life, be more responsible. Don't spend more than you have. Learn to, learn to adopt an attitude of abundance where you believe that your needs will be met. That, yeah, you might take a loss, but the universe will make up for it further down the line. What goes will be replaced eventually, somehow, some way. And it's about understanding the universal laws of attraction, that you're attracting based on what you perceive about yourself and about life and what you think and feel on a day-to-day basis. So if we attract what we focus our attention on the most. So it's not even as if you can attract something, an outcome to a situation that you want just by believing it's possible and visualizing it for 15 minutes a day, because your vibration is based on your dominant belief, your dominant thought, your dominant vibration. So if you believe for 15 minutes in a visualization exercise that you can have the love of your life, but the other 23 hours and 45 minutes, you believe that there's no one out there for you and you're not lovable and you'll never meet anyone special, what do you think you're going to get? So that 15 minutes meditation or visualization, really, honestly, the 45 minutes will override it, because you get what you focus your attention on the most. So learn to focus mostly on what you want rather than what you don't want. So the 8 year is going to give you an opportunity to learn all these things. It's also going to give you an opportunity to be strong and confident and to know yourself really well. Great year, well, not always a great year, because the world is a bit different globally in terms of economically and things like that. So, some businesses are thriving as a result from the changes in the world, but some others are not. So, just be grateful for the money that's coming in. Be grateful for the work that you have. Jobs are a lot more, important. People are a lot more appreciative now of the jobs that some people have complained about. You've got money and coming in. That's really that's a gift. It's a blessing. So learn to change the way that you view things. So I'll leave that with you, and I'll move on now to personal year number 9. And personal year number 9, this 9 year is the last year in a block of 9 cycle. So the 9 year is the last year in a 9 year block of years. And the 9 year is about out with the old to make way for the new. So the 9 year is a year of completion, transformation, and endings. And that doesn't have to be a scary thing with endings. Everyone thinks, oh God, endings. Is it my time to go? Am I going to be fired or redundant or whatever? But endings, everyone's situation and circumstances in life is different. So some people will have it'll be really obvious they're in a 9 year, because they might, end a certain period of study and end a relationship, or end, living in a specific address or residence and move. And you can have other people where everything is exactly the same job, same home, same relationship, same baked beans on toast for dinner on a Thursday night. Everything's the same, except one thing changes in the whole year. And that might be that they do one thing. They end their relationship with eating sugar. And therefore that ending in transformation is in health and well-being area. And that's because they quit sugar and they got a bit more healthier, and they changed their entire life and lifestyle because of that one small thing. So everyone's life is different. Everyone's situation is different. We're not going to know. Even the world's best psychic can't predict what's going to happen to us. And thank God for that, because I would rather not know anyway. We're not meant to know everything. The forecasts that I do, in fact, are just a guideline to give you an idea of the cycle of time you're in and some of the things that can be presented to you in that cycle. It's not set in stone at all. In the world events, the universe is in charge of what happens to us individually and the world as a whole, and who the hell knows what that's going to, what that's about. But the whole gist of the 9 year is where you are basically going from the chrysalis into the butterfly, where by the end of this year and next year, you'll be a different person. You will have overcome hurdles that you wouldn't have thought were possible. You will learn how strong you really are. You'll know yourself better. You'll learn to trust life more. You'll be wiser, and you'll be, by the end of this year, you honestly will be you'll be feeling like you've learned a lot, you've grown a lot, everything can click into place. You can feel like a wise old soul if you handle this year the right way. You can sometimes feel like you're going backwards to go forward, so it can be like a bit of a push me, pull me year. I'm going forward, but before I can go forward, I need tie up some loose ends. There might be unfinished business to look at. There may be tidying up the past before you can move forward. It's about evaluating where you're at and what needs to be done to move forward fully, and what sort of loose ends need to be tied up and how they need to be tied up. And some of those loose ends aren't an overnight thing. Some of those loose ends are still going to take, years, months to be complete. So it's okay. It's a process, and it's a forward, backward kind of process. Part of you will be wanting to go ahead all guns blazing, but you won't be able to because you've still got stuff behind you to get sorted. It's about recognizing that. It's about recognizing what patterns of behavior or thoughts that are holding you back from being where you want to be, and what changes you need to make. It's about coming to conclusions, having realizations from reevaluating or evaluating yourself, your life. It's looking back. So it's looking at past memories. It's like, wow, people from the past might even cross your path this year, or just thoughts will pop into your head and you go, God, I haven't thought about that since I was 12. And then you're thinking about that situation, and then you have this massive realization that it was a situation that caused you to have a belief that you still have today that's false and made you feel bad about yourself, and you've carried it around for like 30 years or something, and out of the blue this thought just comes to you when you're brushing your teeth, and you're like, whoa. It's kind of one of those kinds of years, where you can have these aha moments and these pennies drop and information falls into place, and as a result you're like putting yourself together, or you're rebuilding yourself into this bigger, better person. And as a result, from information that you've gained, or groundwork you've done, or memories that you've had, or going back and sorting out the past, or tidying things up in the present. And that's what it's about. It's about, out with the ultimate way for the new doors opening, other doors closing, and really doing the work on yourself. So don't be afraid if there are changes that need to be made, if there are new beginnings that need to be had, but you're not doing it out of fear of the unknown. You really have to, feel the fear and do it anyway. It's one of those jump off the cliff and just know that there will be someone to catch you at the end. Spirit, the universe will catch you at the end. You're going to be okay, but don't not jump out of fear. You'll feel worse if you don't jump. You'll feel worse if you don't take that leap of faith. And you've got a whole year to get your mind around that. And you've got next year too. The 9 year and the 1 year sort of go hand in hand. So I'll leave that with you. I say get rid of whatever no longer serves you. Out with the ultimate way for the new. Have faith, have hope that there are new doors opening for you. You're going to be okay. And this can be a really dynamic year. So I wish you the very best. And I will talk to you on the 1st of February with your forecast for February. Take care, everybody. Bye.